Hi, guys. Welcome back to another podcast. I think this is episode 8. As you can see, I don't have a guest in this episode, and it is just me. So this episode is quite a spontaneous one. I didn't really plan to make this type of episode at all, or not anytime, this soon anyways. I actually wanted to publish this just a lot later, but something tells me that posting something like this would be really useful to you all. So this episode, I'm going to give you guys 26 things I have learned in my 20s. Number 1 is you have so much time. I mean, you guys probably hear about this all the time, especially in your early 20s, but you have so much time, and I cannot stress enough how true that is. You're in your 20s, you've just finished school, you've finished your whole lifetime of education, you have your whole life ahead of you. Your 20s is where you have the space and the time to explore about yourself, and basically building your future. So never ever rush your 20s. Just take your time, because you have just so much of it. You have space to be failing at things, and you have space to be successful at things. So never stress out. Number 2 is that real life after university, or adulthood after university, is so much harder than people say it is. I don't know about you. Maybe people really ace at life and they just, sail through smoothly. Some people are able to do that in life. Some people aren't. For me, I think university was a lot easier. I think it's because everything is just all set out for you. You got your classes to go to, you've got lecturers, everything's just all set out for you. You know what you're doing the next day. You don't have to plan anything. But when you enter adulthood and you go into the workforce and making your own money, you have to make big decisions yourself. You can get advice from friends and family, but at the end of the day, it is all down to you and what you decide is best for you. So I would say in that it's a little bit harder because responsibilities are a lot bigger as compared to a university student. So I would say if you are a university student, really enjoy your time because it's not going to get any easier. Number 3, take your time to figure out what you really want in life. I know that sounds very, very broad, but hear me out. It really is just figuring out what you're very passionate about, what you really want to do, what do you enjoy, and just discovering that side of yourself and just taking your time. Don't rush. Just take your time getting to know what you like to do and just going for it without judging yourself and not fearing that someone else is going to judge you for it. Just even if it's completely different to what you think it will be, and that it'll, it's not what you expected yourself to be into, but you're into it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So, take some time to figure out what you want and just go for it. Number 4 is probably my favorite one, is to travel as much as you can. I absolutely love travel. I think it's one of the best things in life. But since you guys are very young and very, free-spirited, you have no really big responsibilities. Taking this time to travel the world and just explore the world is the perfect way to get to know yourself, get to know the world around you, and eventually you'll come across something that you love as well. Because when you do get to your 30s or 40s, you'll probably be married, have kids, have a wife or a husband. You're not going to have the time to go and travel, gallivanting around the world with your friends. This is the best time you can really do it. So I'll say travel as much as you can, see the world as much as you can. And and don't worry too much about money. I mean, you guys will eventually find it anyway. But time is not always going to be there. So make use of the time that you have, and you guys have plenty. So that's your superpower. Number 5 is invest in yourself. I would say that is probably the biggest takeaways that I have learned in my 20s. A lot of people will say invest in ETFs, invest in your pensions, invest in on your future, which is absolutely correct. You should 100% do that, which we will get onto later on in the podcast. But I think investing in yourself will probably be the best investment you'll ever do. Never miss out on that. Learn about yourself. Take yourself on walks. A lot of people I'm seeing are taking themselves out on a date. So a solo date, do that. Get out of your comfort zone, read a book, I don't know, exercise, learn a new skill, learn a new language, just invest in yourself and learning new skills and just growing as a person, it will really, really help you in the future. And don't just stick to one skill. Try and expand yourself to other areas as well that you are interested in. So yeah, investing in yourself is probably the biggest takeaways that I have taken from my 20s. And I wouldn't stop there. I would just carry on seeing what else I could learn in this life. Number 6 is kind of tied to number 5, investing in yourself. But this is more around taking care of your health, mental and physical. Physical, now I don't see it as like going to the gym and, getting the best summer body ever. A lot of times I go to the gym for my mental health now. They say that like when you go to the gym and you exercise, your brain releases serotonin, and that's like the happy hormone. And that actually releases a lot of the stress levels and anxiety that you have from whatever your life is throwing at you. So going to the gym, not just for your physical health, but for your mental health as well. And that could be seen as investing in yourself and also investing in your health and taking care of yourself. It's your me time. It's your time. So investing in, gym and exercising and eating healthy and just taking care of yourself is really, really important. And I wish I should have done that a little bit more in my early 20s, but I didn't know then. And I know now. So I would say when it comes to health, take care of your physical and mental. Don't leave out any of it. Number 7, this is more related to the workforce. I entered the workforce when I was 21, 22, I believe, if I remember. After graduation, I just slightly took a break. I went to travel to Thailand to see family, and I took a cheeky trip to Australia as well, because why not? Then I came back home, and it took me 3 months to apply for jobs, and I got rejected a million times. A lot of the times, they don't even reply back to you or email back to you to say that you've been rejected. You would just know that you've been rejected. And a lot of people will say that, their confidence will knock down because they've been rejected. But for me, rejection is going to happen anyway, especially when it comes to applying for jobs and interviews and the workforce. You're going to get rejected. You should be expecting that. But there will be one job where you will be accepted, and you will learn so much from that job as well. And you will grow so much as a person as well. But just that expectation when you finish your degree or your master's or your PhD or whatever it is, just know that rejection is part of the job seeking journey. Don't expect to be accepted into the first job that you get. Just know that rejection is always going to be there, and welcome it in a way, because sometimes getting rejection is, in a way, kind of builds your confidence a little bit, because it will knock it first, but then the more interviews you do and the more rejection that you get used to, you tend to just not feel numb, but you kind of just get used to the process of finding work. So in a way, it's kind of like good practice to really just sell yourself to the job role, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, and just going after what you want, and just, having some sort of confidence. So just keep that in mind when you are, applying for jobs. Just know that you will be rejected a million times before you get a yes. Number 8. Number 8 is know your worth. And this is quite broad, but I'm saying that this lesson, knowing your worth, is both applied to work and to relationships. I think with work, with jobs, a lot of people kind of center their life around work. A career takes up so much of our time, understandably. But at the same time, if you know the skills that you have is valuable, that what you have to offer on the table is very valuable, and knowing yourself is very important, and protecting yourself as well. Because, there are some companies out there who, will be, how do I say it in a nice way? There are some companies out there who will make people redundant. We've seen that in COVID. There are some companies out there who would actually pay you less when you should be earning more. So it's just knowing your worth and knowing what you have to bring to the table is very important. You don't want to be taken advantage of. You don't want to be, used and then thrown away. That's a really horrible way to say it, but that's for lack of better words, that's the best way I can describe it to you. But just knowing your worth and knowing what you have to offer is really special. And you need to protect that. No one else is going to protect it for you. You need to protect it for yourself. And that applies to relationships as well. Don't just, lose yourself or, settle for less just because you think that's what you deserve. Knowing your worth and knowing what you deserve is what's going to get you that high quality partner that you need and what you deserve in life as well. So knowing your worth is quite a big one as well, and something that I had to learn quite a bit. When I was younger, I struggled a lot with self-confidence. I was a very quiet, shy person. I still am now, but not as bad. But yeah, knowing my worth and growing my self-esteem and my self-confidence and trying to be comfortable in my own skin was quite a journey for me. So I would say like this know your worth journey and self-esteem journey was quite a big one. And I had to go through a lot of hurdles just to learn about that, lesson. So I would say knowing your worth is quite an important one to learn in your 20s. Okay, number 9 is speak up and be honest. This is especially applied to work. As I've said before, I'm quite a shy person. Naturally, I don't open up to that many people unless I feel very comfortable with you and I feel very close to you and I can feel like I can trust you. But when it comes to workforce stuff, just, keeping your head down and working really hard isn't going to get you noticed. Sadly, you can produce the best work, but that doesn't mean that you will be noticed and be given a promotion. A lot of times, people who are more vocal and more confident in themselves, even if their work is just mediocre, they tend to be the ones that are most promoted, the ones who are more ahead in front of others, basically. And sometimes learning how to speak up for yourself is quite an important part. And just, being your authentic self and just putting yourself out there, even if it's really uncomfortable for you. But speaking up for yourself is quite an important skill to have within the workforce. And also being very honest. And I don't mean just being honest to other people. I mean being honest to yourself as well. You need to be honest with how you're actually feeling, what you're actually thinking, and just think to yourself, is this going to serve me or not? If the answer is no, then you need to rethink your other options or take a step back and think about where you're really going and what you actually want to do. I think being honest is probably another important skill when it comes to jobs. You need to be honest with your managers as well, not in a horrible way. Don't say in ways that's going to hurt them, but just, try and be honest in a way that is constructive and it's not going to hurt anyone. It's not going to, jeopardize anything, but just in a way that you need to be honest with yourself and that you're getting something out of it as much as they are getting something out of you. So just speaking up and being honest, I would say, is the biggest lesson I had to do, especially me as an introvert and someone who's quite shy at first. It's definitely something I had to learn as well when it comes to work. And I still have a lot to learn, but that is just one of the lessons that I've learned about working. Number 10 is a recent one that I've learned, is to just be open to receiving, or be open-minded, especially now when I'm not working full-time. I'm actually somewhat self-employed, but I'm also really open to new opportunities as well out there. You never know who you're going to meet or where you're going to be or what you're going to do, but just be open to new opportunities and just be open to receiving. If someone is giving you a great job offer, you don't really see yourself doing it, but go for it anyway because it sounds really good. And you never know where that might lead you. It might lead you to finding a new passion. It might lead you to meeting someone new, new friends, just anything, because you never know. This life is never a straight line, and it's just to be open to receiving to things that you would never expect yourself to be in can be quite an exciting endeavor. So be open to new opportunities, to new people, and also keep an open mind as well. Don't keep a narrow mind and just dismiss everything, because you could be missing out a really good opportunity. So keep an open mind, be open to receiving, and you never know where that might take you. Obviously listen to your gut, but be open to what is coming to you. Number 11 is to network and build professional relationships, especially if you work within like an office environment. You meet new people. So like if you're jumping from job to job and you're changing pretty often, you're going to meet new people, and you're going to build professional relationships. Keep that professional relationship, stay in contact with your colleagues, because sometimes they would, offer you something new. This is kind of like quite linked to the point that I said before earlier, but you never know who you meet. And it's worth meeting new people and networking. And just don't do it for the intention of, oh, I'm just using them for business or for my career advancement. Sometimes see it as making new friendships as well, because a lot of people, when they do enter real life, they actually struggle making new friends outside or after university. So sometimes building new relationships and making new friends, you end up making it at work anyway. So don't see as networking and building professional relationships as just a business advancement or your career advancement. Sometimes see it as a new friendship in your life. You never know where it might take you, and you never know who you meet. So networking is quite important. I never knew this. I thought that, your work speaks for itself, and that, the quality of your work speaks for itself, and it's very professional. But now that I've learned that when it comes to office environment, it really is sometimes about who you know and who can really help you, and not always about what you know. And that's a very big lesson for me. I didn't think how important that was until now, basically. So yeah, I would say keep in touch with your university friends. You never know where they end up working, but also be open to meeting new people and build new relationships when you do enter the workforce. Number 12, there is no straight line in life. As I said before, life is not a straight line. There is no manual, no instruction on how you should do it. If everyone had instructions on how to live their life, everyone would be very happy and very successful right now. But life is not like that. Everyone have a different pace. They have a different, sometimes people have more an advantage than others. Just some people are given better opportunities. Everyone is different and on a different part of their life. So I would say that don't expect life to be very smooth after university. Just expect life to be up and down, sideways, just a squiggly line, basically. Just don't see it to be a smooth path. What I get is that a lot of graduates who graduate, they expect to enter the workforce of what they have already studied, and they think that they have to stay within that kind of industry because of the fact that they studied for it. I'm here to tell you that you do not have to stay within the industry that you studied for. I know some people in my course, actually, that I did digital media communications, which is very media focused, all about communications, so like PR, journalism, TV broadcasts, everything like that. Some people didn't get into it. Some people went into music, and that's completely different. Even though it's media linked in some ways, music is still very different. Being a musician is very different to being a journalist or TV broadcast. So sometimes what you study for doesn't have to be the destiny, your whole work life depended on it, if you know what I mean. So like whatever you study for doesn't mean you have to stay within that field forever for the rest of your life. So keep that in mind. If you want to change career paths, that's completely fine. It's normal. Don't beat yourself up to it. You did not waste your time. I repeat, you did not waste your time studying for this industry. People change, careers change, and that's normal, and that's okay. Number 13, always have more than one income. And I think you guys already know what I mean by this. So many people, especially during COVID, were made redundant from their jobs. And these people probably most likely had one stream of income, which was their job that they have now lost. Now that we know that jobs are not 100% secure all the time, you need to have something else to fall back on. You need a second income to support you if anything was to happen to your job. So sometimes just building a side business, a side hustle. Sometimes it really is just investing in a property so you can be a landlord and rent out. Whatever it is, just make sure you have a second option, a second income to support you if anything was to happen to your job. So I would say have your day job, but also have something on the side to support you as well. And just know that you don't have to have only two stream of incomes. There are so many people that have 6, 7 streams of income. You can have as many as you want. I'm just saying, just don't rely on one thing to support you. Number 14 is to invest in your money in stocks and shares, ETFs, and absolutely put money into your pension. I have a few friends who enter the workforce and they were asked if they wanted to invest or put money away into their pension. A lot of them said no, because they said that they need money now, which is understandable. We live in a very difficult, life, and London is not very cheap, let's face it. So I understand that they don't want to put money away for the future, that they're not allowed to touch in the next 40, 50 years. However, I went about a different way. I decided to opt in for my pension. As soon as that was given to me, I decided to just keep putting money away into my pension. And I'm very, very happy that I did, because I feel like I've invested in my future self that my future self would be very proud of and would be able to enjoy the fruits of my labor, let's say. That pension is not just going to be sitting in the bank and not be invested into anything. So that sometimes that pension will be invested naturally into a stock market, and your money will either grow or you'll lose. Either way, with pensions, you need to think long term, 10, 20, 30 years time. And by then your money might triple or quadruple in that time, and you would get so much more than what you thought it would be. So I would say 100% just put your money into pensions. I know you need it now. I know that you have a lot to pay for, but trust me on this, your pension is going to really work out for you. It's so worth it. It's a really good way to learn about money and how to discipline your habits and your mindset for money, and, improve your money management. I don't know how to really stress how important it is to actually put money away for your pension, especially if you're working for a company where they invest in, let's say, 5%, and you invest in a part of your salary 5%. So altogether it's 10%. And that money will just be for you, and it's tax-free. So I would say this is probably the biggest advice when it comes to finance. I would say your 20s is the biggest time where you can really grind and hustle and make money for yourself. Number 15, this kind of goes back to my point at number 3, sorry, is that when you finish your education at university, your learning just should not stop there. You should never stop learning after a classroom or a lecture hall. Life is all about learning. Life is all about growing. So if you think that, your education stops at university degree, you're absolutely wrong. You're going to keep learning for the rest of your life. And you're going to learn new things. You're going to learn more about people. You're going to learn more about yourself. You're going to learn more about finance. You're going to learn more about family, friends, just life in general, things that you cannot learn within the classroom. And you have to learn about these things. And just be open to learning it as well, and always learning to grow. I think it's just a really big misconception when people think that you only stop learning once you graduate from university or your PhD or your master's. That's absolutely not the case. You will keep learning for the rest of your life, and you will experience new things for the rest of your life, and you will make mistakes for the rest of your life, and that's okay, because that's what life is about. So number 16 is having a small group of friends is so much better than having a big group of friends. I've learned that the quality of your friends is so much more important. When I was at university, I thought the more friends, the better. But then I later realized that all of those friends that you think who are your friends, they might not see you the same way. They might keep you at arm's length when you want to be closer to them. Not everyone is going to like you, as harsh as that might sound, but it's true. Not everyone is going to like you. And sometimes having a few close friends within your circle is just so much more valuable than having a big group of acquaintances. Your close friends should be the people who know you very well, people who don't judge you, people who are always going to support you no matter what decision you make. And those are the quality of friends that you should have. And not everyone should have the privilege to be within your circle. You know, your life is precious. Your life and your time is valuable. So having a very few close friends that you can go to for advice and for support is so much more worth it than just having big groups of acquaintances on Instagram or Facebook. Number 17, this is quite an eye-opening one for me, but understand that everyone in your life is going to have a different opinion and different perspective from you, including your friends. I have quite a lot of friends who view the exact same way as me, so they look at life exactly the same way. And I have a few friends who don't look at life the same way as me. They have a completely different way of looking. And I respect that, and they respect my opinions and my views of life as well. We both understand that we are all common. We all have something in common, which is why we're friends. But we also understand that we're all brought differently. We're brought up differently. We have different family values. We have different family traditions. We all know that everyone's an individual and they all have their own different personalities. So having people, friends even, who are very different from you, but also have something common with you is very important. And just understand that like everyone's opinions and values and morals and the way they look at life is going to be completely different. You're going to come across people who have a completely different way of saying things or looking at life, and that's okay. Not everyone is brought up the same way as you. And we just need to respect each other's differences and just go with that. Just know that opinion is an opinion. Their views are their views and your views are your views. It's okay for different people to have different opinions, but that doesn't mean it's a fact. Number 18, I should be doing this, but I highly recommend it, is go to therapy if you can. The reason why I say this is because in your 20s, you're learning about yourself. You're trying to learn about your strengths and your weaknesses. But that doesn't mean that you should ignore your past traumas. If you can, even if it's not super serious, where like, you know, you may not be going through depression or panic attacks or anything like that, but you have a few demons that you need to fight against. You want to talk it out with a professional, go ahead, go to therapy and talk to a professional about it. This is the good time to really work on yourself and work on your insecurities and work on your demons, I guess. Fight your demons and have someone to help you battle your demons. I have not yet gone to therapy, but I have thought about it. If you cannot afford therapy, then in the UK, you can go through the NHS and you would be able to get free counselling sessions. It won't be instant. I've been told that it does take some time to get some help through the NHS, but it's worth it if you are looking to improve yourself and sort out any past traumas. If you don't want to do that, and then at least talk to a very reliable friend, talk to a friend that is trustworthy. You can even talk to a family member if you feel that's better for you. Just don't keep it inside, because if you don't sort out those past traumas within your 20s, your personalities and your past traumas is going to solidify by the time you get your 30s, and that's just going to be who you are now. So it's so much better to fix whatever is hurting you on the inside rather than having it affect you in your 30s and when you have your kids. Okay, number 19. Spend as much time as you can with family and friends. I feel like I didn't do enough of this when I was a teenager and in my early 20s. I think in my early 20s, I was very much focusing on work and building my career and getting it out there as soon as possible so I can climb the corporate ladder and, you know, work at my highest peak in my 20s. Whoever who you have in your life right now, family or friends, try and spend as much time with them as possible. It doesn't have to be a massive holiday. You don't have to throw a banquet, but even just going out to get, I don't know, a takeaway, even just going out to have a picnic with them, just, I don't know, going food shopping with your mum, or just, I don't know, just going to cinema with your friend, just small things like that you are going to treasure forever when they do leave this earth. and just treasuring those memories is always worth it. So spending time with friends and family is so important. Your work can come later, but your friends and family are there for you. They are in your life for a reason. So treasure them and spend time with them as much as you can, because you won't get that time back when they do leave. Number 20, this is quite a big one. I would say I learned this quite early on, and I'm grateful that I have, is to learn how to be single and enjoy it. So my last really serious boyfriend was when I was in college, and I was around 18 years old, I think. So this was before I went into uni. That was my ever last serious boyfriend. And I was with him for like a year and a bit, I think. We were very young. We were very much in love, but we also had a lot of issues that we had to deal with within ourselves. So it didn't work out in the way that we wanted it to be. But after that really, horrible breakup, I decided that I wanted to take a break from relationships and just focus on, getting to uni and focus on uni. And so within that time then, I just focused on my education mostly. And I was single and I loved it. I never thought being single would be so much fun and the best part of my 20s ever. So when I was a very young teenager, I used to think that like love and relationships were the best thing in life, that like everyone should be in relationships. That is like the best part of a person. But now that I'm older and I learned that learning about someone when they're single is probably a lot more interesting than they were in a relationship, because you actually get to know the individual themselves, what they actually like, what they don't like, what irritates them, what excites them, what they do when they're not with their partner. Like you learn so much more about the individual. So I feel like there's just so much more to learn about a person when they're single. Not in a, being in a relationship is not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I just think that everyone should at least be single at some point in their life, just to learn about themselves and enjoy it while you're at it as well. When you're single, you don't have any drama, you don't have any arguments, you're not bickering with anyone, you're not constantly checking on someone, they're not constantly checking on you. You have absolute freedom to do whatever you want and just enjoy your own company and and just be free, like in terms of relationships, and just enjoying your time with yourself and enjoying with the time with your friends and family. In the future, you will get married and have kids and have a husband. There is no rush. Enjoy being single and enjoy the freedom that you have, because trust me, you're going to love it. Just enjoy being single. So number 21 is learn about what you don't like in a person and what you do like within a person. This is going to be really helpful for you to kind of just focus on the type of person that you see yourself being with long-term wise when you do get into a relationship. Of course, not everyone is perfect. Not everyone is going to tick every single box that you've listed, but at least you have some sort of structure and the layout of what you are going for and who you're looking for. You don't have to follow it to a T, because let's face it, no one is going to be exactly what you're looking for, but at least you have some sort of idea, you have some sort of type in your head, and that's okay. I think it's, if anything, that's pretty good. That means you fleshed out on what is your deal breaker and what is not your deal breaker. And once you do find that, you just get the high quality partner that you deserve. Number 22, when you do get into a relationship and you are in a relationship that you are not happy in, don't settle for that relationship. If that relationship is not serving you and it's not making you happy and you just feel like you're only getting, 10% of it, move on and find someone new, or stay single until you do find someone who's worth your time. I feel like a lot of people are just in, sad relationships because they're too scared to be on their own, or they just think that this is the best that they can get, which is absolutely not true. There are, I think, 9 billion people on this earth, and you think there's nothing better is absolutely not realistic. There is absolutely someone out there who will meet your standards and who will make you happy and who will go above and beyond for you. You don't have to settle for what is not making you happy. So I would say just don't stay where you are just because you think that's the best you can do. You can absolutely move on and find something that's better for you. Don't ever settle for a relationship that you are not happy with, and that's okay. Number 23. Let's say if you are in a really happy relationship, don't ever lose yourself. Don't lose that person who you were before you met them. There's a reason why they are with you, because they love who you were before you met them. So if you're the type of person who's really into gym and they like you because you're into gym, don't stop going to gym, just because you're in a relationship now. Keep taking care of yourself. Keep working on yourself. Don't lose yourself. Don't lose your passion. Don't lose who you are. Stay who you are, because they're with you because of who you are. So never change yourself for a relationship, and don't lose yourself within a relationship. That is quite an important one. I feel like in my past relationships, I was my own individual person. And then when I was in a relationship, I kind of find myself changing just so I can cater to that person. And I realized I should not have done that. If anything, it probably hurt me more trying to fit someone else's needs rather than fulfilling my needs. Number 24. Negative comments or negative judgment, or you throwing negative comments and negative judgments to someone, is not going to do anything. If you think that's a way for you to make you feel better, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it's not. It's not going to make you feel any better about yourself. It's not going to put down the other person. It's not going to change anything. So, throwing shade or giving negative comments and saying horrible things about a person is not really going to do anything for you. It's not going to make the situation any better. It's not going to make you feel any better long-term wise. So why say negative things about someone? If you don't like someone, you don't have to say it. You can just move on and just focus on the things that make you happy. It's not something that you need to do. If anything, it probably just emphasizes your insecurity, which you need to work on yourself and on your own. But dragging someone else down is not going to help you at all. And let's say you're the person that is not throwing shade and someone else is throwing shade at you. Just know that that's just their insecurity. That's just something that they need to deal with. It's got nothing to do with you. You keep doing you and let that person deal with whatever they need to deal with. Number 25, things happen for a reason. I don't know if any of you have ever, get sick and tired of hearing that, but it's so true. It is so true. There are sometimes things happen for a reason because you're supposed to be redirected in a different path, or it's trying to protect you from something. And that things happen for a reason. If something is supposed to happen for you, it will happen for you in due time. So just let chips fall where they remain and just accept it as it is. And great things will happen to you. It will come to you. Just give it some time and just be patient. Number 6, to wrap everything up, is to understand that life is not perfect. You are not perfect. I am not perfect. No one is perfect. So please do not beat yourself up if life is not how it's supposed to be and it's not going exactly the way that you want it to be. So just accept that life is difficult. Life is not a straight line and it's supposed to be up and down. So just know that life is not perfect, but make it in a way that's perfect for you. So by that, I mean, make the best of life. Make the best of everything that makes you happy and enjoy it within that moment. Accept that the bad things are just a phase. It's gonna move on and you're gonna move on. It's not there forever. So accept what's happening, enjoy the great moments, and just know that life is not a straight line and make the best of it. So yeah, those are all of my 26 lessons that I have learned in my 20s so far. I'll probably make a part 2 when I hit my 30s, and I can give you the full breakdown and the ultimate list of things that I have learned in my 20s. But I just wanted to share with you guys on the things that I've learned so far in my mid-20s and how it's going. But I will absolutely make a part 2. Give me a thumbs up or leave a comment somewhere saying that you want a part 2 when I hit my 30s, and I will give you the absolute ultimate breakdown of what I've learned. If you find this useful, please let me know and I will do the part 2. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I hope you have taken something away. Yeah, I wish you guys all the best. I love you all, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch and listen to my podcast. Okay, I love you. Thank you. Take care. Bye.